Hello everybody. Welcome to the channel if you're new, and welcome back if you're already a subscriber. Today I'm going to be doing a post-week plan with me for my week in the life spread in my Hobonichi HON. So behind these papers, I have already set up the washi that I picked for the week, which is the Da Vinci washi tape from Coffee Monster Co. It was from the artist series that she did last year. In the month of April, I picked an artist for every single week based off the washis that she had. So this is my Da Vinci week. It just so happened to also be the week in the life week. So I actually have my week in the life journal out, which if you guys caught the video from Sunday, it's that same journal. So it is a digital download. You can buy them physically, I think, every year. And I think that they've changed them ever so slightly each year, but the format's kind of the same. You always have like an hourly page. You have kind of like a gratitude feelings page. You have an ING page, what I want to remember, and lots of note sections, and then it just kind of repeats. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use all these notes to fill out what actually happened this week versus kind of a taskless mentality. I've really been wanting to do a spread like this for a little bit, instead of kind of my norm that shows, you know, the X'd off things and the things that migrated. So I think it'll be really fun to just have a spread like this. So I just wanted to kind of give an overview set up, and then what we're gonna do is I'm gonna jump into a voiced over version of me actually completing the spread so that you don't have to listen to me painfully decide on stickers, that kind of thing. And we'll just kind of voice over and have a chat. I am gonna be using my Zebra Sarasa clip in 05. This is from a vintage collection of colors. I don't have the specific color in front of me. I might have to pop it down below, but there's 2 packs that you can get. And this is this color. I was doing some pin tests. And then this is a Pilot G2 in 07. So it's a little bit thicker and it's just a nice gray. I just think that they're the closest match to these 2 colors. So I think I'm gonna be doing personal in the burgundy kind of reddish wine color, and then I'll be doing work in the gray. And I think that'll make the spread look really, really nice. You'll also notice that I don't have my weather plugged in. I'm gonna have to go back in and retroactively put that because I do need my phone for that. So I'll be popping that in as well. But I think that just about covers the basics. If there's a sticker or something in particular that you see me use, and I don't call it out in the voiceover, you just pop it down below in the comments and I will answer you as quickly as I can. Thank you guys so much for watching, and on to the voiceover version.
All right, guys, let's get into it. So first off, just going to go ahead and say that I do not love the final product. So we're going to see it come together, but I am just throwing it out there. I am not in love. I wish I had really just stuck with this one color, this pretty like wine Bordeaux color. I think it looks so great with this washi and that already like Bordeaux sketchbook color that's already on it. I think that it would have looked astronomically better. Another thing that I really don't love that I brought into it was kind of like there's going to be a few stickers that are on the red side, and I just think that they just didn't sit really well. I ended up liking the stickers that were like gray or like dark teal, or obviously my super cute emojis, like things that were a little bit either more traditional to the spreads, like the emojis, or colors that just match with things a little bit better. So just throwing all those things out there. But you know, that's the great thing about planning and experimenting with new things. I really just love pushing myself, because if you don't do the most, then you don't know when the most is too most. Yes. So let's just kind of get into it from there. So the first sticker I popped down is from a Happy Planner sticker book that I've had for a while. I actually used sticker books from Happy Planner and Hobby Lobby, which is Agenda 52. So if you see that brand, that's where that's from, and my emojis. So I was really happy and have been really happy in the last few weeks to just be diving back into my other sticker books because I have so many that it's quite absurd, but I really do forget about how many amazing stickers that I have other than the emojis. And I've been really quite pleasantly surprised, especially on like an icon front, how many stickers I have that I can use. So I've been trying to keep a couple sticker books on me, like in my backpack or along with my emoji sticker binder, just to pull from when I can or when it's applicable. And I really think it's helping me feel like I'm smashing my stash a little bit more and promoting what I preach, which is 100% use your stash, especially amidst like sales and upcoming pre-sales and all the things happening and the haul videos I post. Just wanted to throw it out there that yes, I still do shop my own stash quite a bit, and I'm trying to do more of that these days. But I use that dinner sticker to note how I needed to get up, turn off the crock pot, and finish the red beans first thing on Monday morning. So red beans are typically something that are made on Mondays in Louisiana culture. Jeff's family is from Louisiana, and I actually reached out to his aunt to get her red bean recipe, and I think that they turned out really good. The thing about most Louisiana cooks or cooks in his family, they don't necessarily measure, so it's all kind of off the dome. I think I could have added some more spice. I definitely needed to add some more sausage. But other than that, I think it was a really good, solid B first attempt. We had enough to feed so many people. It was absurd. We fed his brother, his dad. We had enough to eat off of and then freeze one meal's worth for us. I also sent some with my boss to give to a coworker who was recovering from a hip surgery out of state, as well as my boss. I think that's everybody, but it basically 1 pound of beans feeds a lot of people. So just throwing that out there if you need a good recipe that's going to feed the masses. Then I put down a super cute little watering can sticker from an Agenda 52 book to just kind of signify watering plants, but also feeding the cat and getting ready. I did not put down a sticker to note that I was watching Children of the Watch, which is the podcast that I was watching or listening to that week rather. Then I did a cute little emoji with the to-do list. I did opt for the gray, which again, I really quite enjoyed having the more neutral sticker options for this particular spread, and just made a list of work tasks that I needed to do. I'll also go ahead and say that a big reason I didn't love how this spread turned out is because my goal, obviously, as I said, was for it to kind of be more of what I actually did that week. Which, while it's accurate in that regard, I still did exactly what I didn't want to do, which is like grouping things. I still did break it up a little bit, but I will most often write household things I need to do, any film content, that sort of thing, maybe a workout up top. Then I go into my work tasks, and then I kind of go back into either, filming, cleaning, if I need to go to the grocery store, run errands. So while it's kind of in order, it's not exactly genuine to what's actually happening at that hour. And I don't know that I'll ever get there. I think maybe at one point in Hobonichi life I did, but I just think that that's not the structure that tends to work best for me. I'm more of a list maker, and I tend to work more categorically as well. So typically in the morning, I'm usually doing like one or two house things and a journal thing before I leave. And then while I'm at the office, I'm not just working on work tasks, but like during my lunch break, for instance, it is actually my lunch break right now, and I'm in the car recording this voiceover so that my coworker can eat her lunch in peace without listening to me do a voiceover. So I'm usually doing something kind of crafty oriented or updating a planner at the office too, and I don't always write that down in the correct space. So all of this to say, I don't know that I am the best representation of doing something on, okay, well, this is exactly what happened at noon. I'm more of a list maker for X time frame. I feel like that didn't make a lot of sense. But if you guys have been hanging out for a while, you'll have seen enough spreads to know what the heck I'm talking about. So then I used a little trash can to mark some things around the house that needed to get done, like trashing some items, recycling, doing the dishes, going to get the mail. I did not use stickers to indicate that I was watching The Gallery, Mandalorian Season 2, or the Turning Point show, which is The Bomb and the Cold War. If you've caught the 9/11 and War on Terror, I think I preferred that much better. So drop down in the comments and let me know if you've watched them both and what your thoughts are. At the time, I was watching Turning Point, The Bomb and the Cold War, which, as you guessed, it would be about the bomb, the atom bomb, and the Cold War, and kind of nuclear war and things of that nature. What I don't like is I feel like it jumps around quite a bit, and it's not quite to the level that I feel like the 9/11 War on Terror was. I think that's the name of the other one that was done first. I just felt like it was better done and it was less bouncing around. But I fell asleep through quite a few episodes because Jeff and I kind of had it on as our fall asleep show. Not exactly the best sleep material, but it was working. But I actually wanted to go back and watch it for actual information purposes, and I'd really like to watch the whole thing before I watch Oppenheimer. I know I'm probably in the 1 percentile of people who have not watched Oppenheimer yet, but I really just wanted to learn more. And I'm always like that, where I'd really like to listen to a podcast with something I'm watching, or I'd like to read a book, or I always want more information, and I will crave information and behind the scenes and things of that nature. So if you've got some good recommendations for me, let me know. But I'm actually going back and watching it now for information so I can watch Oppenheimer soon. Would be really fun. On Tuesday, we sat in bed a little bit later than usual, and so I used a tiny icon. I used a tiny icon on almost every single page, or on every single row, I think, except for Saturday and Sunday, which really Saturday and Sunday were a hot mess. So we'll talk about that when we get there. But for the most part, I used one on every single row. So I used one on Monday to mark that I was reading Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, Book 2, Chapter 1 specifically. Sometimes I put chapters, sometimes I put page numbers. It really just depends. So on Tuesday, I used that tiny little cup of coffee to talk about that we just kind of stayed in the bed and had cuddle time and coffee. Then I made a note about updating my planner and my week in the life journal, and then used a cardio sticker from a Happy Planner book to mark in that I was continuing to read Lord of the Rings, Two Towers, Chapter 1, while I was on the elliptical for an hour. Then I was listening to my podcast while I was deep diving into a rabbit hole of paper haunts. So I'd really wanted to order from that company for quite a while. And by now, if you haven't seen the haul, it is over on the channel. It was glorious. But she had a really great promotion going on, and you could get an extra off if you signed up for the newsletter, which I wasn't signed up for yet. And then I already wanted to order from this company because I knew I wanted it to be in the goodie bags for Taylor and I for Halloween Horror Nights, which ironically, I was also planning that day. So there's a super cute little emoji on a broom with a witch's hat that says, "Fly away from my problems." And I was planning our annual Halloween Horror Nights trip with some representatives because sometimes the tools online don't always suit what I'm trying to do. And so it's just better to get a actual human on the phone and help me out so that I could get that package over to Taylor with some pricing and we could start discussing it. That is one thing that I didn't actually end up putting down, but I believe it was Sunday that I officially booked the trip, which was really awesome. And then I obviously wrote down the 2 whole work things I managed to accomplish that day. We're in a really odd little lull, not right now anymore because we've now had a new hire, but at this particular time, we had my coworker, she was out on her hip surgery at this point. And then also, we were waiting for the new hire to start. So we really were trying to keep things reeled in, knowing that I was going to be kind of unavailable for a few weeks training her. And then my coworker, she was also going to be kind of down and out a little bit as she came back from her surgery. She wasn't going to be 100% for a while. So we were just kind of light on workload all the way around. And it was a really good thing because my personal life was quite literally in flames by association more than anything. I was really just having to be a really supportive structure for people in my life that I deeply care about. And just kind of be at their disposal. So that's also why this week ends up looking really light. I was just trying to do things almost every single day that kept me grounded because I needed to be at my best to be the support for them. So that was really a major thing for me throughout the week. And that's also why Saturday and Sunday look really empty, because I was really just trying to be supportive and at their disposal. So Wednesday, I was very tired, hormonal, and very chatty because I was very excited about HHN plans starting, but I was also in that, post PMS slump. So I actually PMS kind of backwards, which is weird. So this unfortunately was the week where I tend to just not have a really high energy level. I really don't have a lot of bandwidth. So I was really, really striving to do my best to stay sane and helpful. And I know that probably sounds really crazy, but I just threw that little emoji up there because he looks tired. He looks like he's maxed out. And I was definitely struggling to not let that feed into the situation. So that was a struggle in of itself. But then I did some garden maintenance, which really helps. And then I was also remote. So I did some laundry, tidied the apartment, packed an overnight bag, and then ran the dishwasher. Did, of course, some work tasks. So there's a nice little block of gray right there. Like I said, I don't hate the gray. I really am not great with a 0.7 tip. So usually 0.5 is about as big as I go. And that's, more than I particularly care for even sometimes. 0.38 is always my preference. Sorry, there was somebody walking on the sidewalk and I was very distracted. Squirrel. But I've tried to make it work, this particular gray pen. While I love the color, I've tried to make it work in 2 different spreads, and I really just don't like how those spreads look at all because of the fact that it's just so big in comparison to my super fine point, 0.38. So sorry, 0.7, you're going to go in a giveaway bag for sure. And then I kind of just made a note about working on March and April dailies. And over Tuesday and Wednesday, I was watching Cyrano. So I used a heart to kind of mark that because it is a more romantic movie. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. Was anybody else very shocked when they started watching it and it was a musical? Because let me tell you, didn't see that coming. Didn't know. Guess I should have paid more attention to the trailer. I also felt the same way about Wonka, which was rather odd. I did not know Wonka was going to be a musical either. But Jeff and I watched Unsolved Mysteries and had a healthy dinner on Wednesday night. So that was kind of the end of that. Going into Thursday, you guys, I need coffee in the morning. 100%. It's non-negotiable. If I can't have coffee, a black tea with some cream in it will do me just fine, but I need hot in the morning. And Jeff did not make coffee. I drove all the way home with no coffee. Immediately made a K-cup of coffee. And honestly, gorgeous sunrise. So I got some of the prettiest pictures that morning because, again, this is week in the life. I don't know if I mentioned that in this voiceover part. I know I mentioned it in kind of the intro, but I got beautiful shots that morning of not just my cup of coffee that I worked very hard to get to, but also just how pretty the sun rose across the patio and into the house. I love when it casts like these just fire rays all into the house. It just makes me so happy. So got my cup of coffee, watered the plants, fed the cat, wiped the counter. So kind of that same run through that I did on Monday. And ironically, it's kind of that same routine. Like if I'm driving from Jeff's, then it's, I drive an hour from his house to my house, get the house kind of picked up a little bit, and then I'm off to work. So it's a pretty quick little turnaround. I put the cute little emoji, making phone calls because I was on the phone, I think, for like 3 hours. Between talking to my mom, talking to Jen, and talking to Jeff, I was all over the place. Then I finally made a little work to-do list. I did not actually, other than I used the to-do list emoji on Monday and then a really cute tiny icon on Friday to indicate work, but those are really the only times that I really put a sticker to go with the work to-do list. I find it difficult to sometimes find work stickers that aren't laptops. Let me know if you know a brand that's out there. Obviously, Coffee Monster Co. makes some other ones, but a lot of them are associated with laptops. And at my office, I'm not using a laptop, so it just doesn't make sense for me to use that. And even though it doesn't literally mean a laptop, I can just sometimes be a little bit overly literal when I'm documenting. That's just me being fully transparent with that. And then also I did use a tiny icon to mark the healthy dinner we had on Wednesday and a tiny icon to mark in that I went to Kroger on Thursday after work to get a couple things and to make Jeffrey lasagna. So I was planning to make lasagna for him. So I got everything. And then at the last minute, he kind of realized that would be really hard to do and be quite time consuming. So one of my favorite go-to things to do if you don't have time to make a lasagna, but you want that taste profile, baked rigatoni every single time, peeps. So you make your sauce like you would normally, do the rigatoni or noodle to your liking. I guess you could even still do like a spaghetti noodle or a bow tie noodle. It's whichever noodle you want to do. But I actually had some heart-shaped rigatonis from Barilla from the release that they did at Valentine's Day. And I thought that would be really sweet with just everything going on. I just thought that would be a really sweet way to do a pasta for him. I did have a couple bites, but he basically ate the whole pan by himself. So I made it with these super cute heart-shaped rigatonis, and you basically do your ricotta, egg, and cheese mixture, and you just plop it in dollops of your liking across the top. You put some more shredded cheese on there, and you bump it in the oven for I don't know, maybe 20 minutes, if that, enough for everything to get all really nice and melty. You can even exclude the egg. It's up to you. But you pop it in the oven for, like I said, 15, 20 minutes, get everything all melty, and then ta-da, you're done. And then you don't have the crazy layering process of a lasagna, but you still got the same flavor profile. And that's one of our favorites to do if we're kind of short on time and want to do that. So Friday was a little bit calmer, so I was remote and I did a little bit of Star Wars prep. At the time that I was doing Week in the Life, I was really hopeful that I was going to be able to do my annual Star Wars spread. So I typically have releases on the 4th and the 6th. Unfortunately, given everything that's been going on, that's just not really been feasible. It's not exactly that it's been more of I literally haven't been alone for a month, you guys, I think. So normally I'm used to having a couple nights alone at my house, and then I'm used to having the office to myself multiple days of the week, and I'm used to having remote days. And a lot of those have been eliminated, one, with some personal things going on, but also with the element of a new hire. I have literally not had a work day by myself or a day off in a week and a half, which is really weird when you're used to being very alone a lot of the time. So unfortunately, I use a lot of that alone time to film and do voiceovers and things of that nature. So it kind of threw me off a little bit. And I really can't thank you guys enough for not, coming after me with pitchforks about it. I'm at least trying to make sure that everyone got to see at least one upload a week from me. But we should be about at a point where I can manage and get us back to 2 a week and actually get ahead again. So I'm really hopeful about that. And I actually have a Friday off on my horizon. So I'm really excited and hoping that I can spend the day doing that. I know I mentioned something along the lines of this. Oh, there's Binks making a guest appearance. I know I mentioned it fairly recently saying that, I had a day off coming. Hopefully I'll get ahead, blah, blah, blah. And then that didn't happen. I'm not sure if you saw the last video that I posted, but My mom spent 12 hours in the ER the day that I thought I was going to be off. She's totally fine. Mama is doing great. I actually get to see her later this afternoon. We're celebrating Mother's Day a little bit late, but that's okay. And I just want to let you guys know that I am sorry for the inconsistency, but it is something that I believe I'm going to be able to fix in the next few days. So you guys shouldn't see any glitches or weirdness from this point out. So just kind of wrapping up Friday a little bit, I did some browsing on Dolls Kill and got some outfits picked out for Halloween Horror Nights. I had a little work to-do list, paid some bills, watched Ever After, and then just worked on Week in the Life and March updates. Jeff and I got Foggy Bottom for dinner and watched Night Sky. Saturday, we spent the entire day car shopping, but we did stop at Cooley's. And then there was a full system meltdown. Just all the personal things going on just blew up and magnified, and it was just too much. And so it was a full meltdown, rebuild, and then we just needed to go to bed. So that being said, Sunday ended up being a really important and crucial day to rest and to kind of refill our cups. So there's also not a lot to document for Sunday other than the fact that my lavender finally sprouted. I went on a run. I filmed and posted a March video, a March flip through rather. Went to Kroger, cooked, and we watched Dead Boy Detectives until we went to bed at like 7. So it was a really quick, low-key day. It was a very much-needed rest day, and that was it for the week. As I said, the week was a little spotty, so I've got my weather all the way across the top, but you'll notice there's kind of gaps in my hydration tracker that I just didn't record them in the journal, and it's okay. Not everything got meticulously recorded, and I will be totally okay with that. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video and liked this spread and garnered some knowledge. And again, thank you guys so much for being flexible and understanding with me these past few weeks. I can't thank you enough and tell you how much I appreciate you. Thank you, everybody. And until next time, enjoy creating your own little wonderlands. Bye.